Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and if you haven't heard the news, which I basically just found out an hour ago, actually less than that, but it's 8 o'clock in the East Coast, so I figured I gotta jump on this before a lot of you elsewhere are awake, or if you're international, then you're probably up and know about this already. But basically, if you haven't heard, which I'm assuming a lot of you might not have, the Generation 6 Pokemon games were just announced, and as you can tell from the screen right here, this is going to be Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. And this is the first time we're getting a Pokemon game for the 3DS, like specifically like a Gen 6, I guess. It's going to be for the 3DS, as I said, and it's the first time also that we're getting a game that is not based on a color, which is very weird, and I don't know how I feel about that right away. Actually, I guess Diamond and Pearl really aren't colors, but or neither is a well, I guess Ruby and Sapphire could be. But anyway, these are, as one of my friends pointed out, Pokemon algebra. So the cool thing about it, though, is being for the 3DS, it's going to be one of those games that looks a lot similar to Pokemon Coliseum in terms of like the gameplay. Though the trailer kind of revealed that you aren't going to be walking in like, eight directions like you could in that game for the GameCube or whatever. But it is more of like a up, down, left, right type thing. It just looks really cool in 3D. I'll post a link to the trailer in the description. But anyways, it's really cool. One awesome thing about this is that it is going to be released in October this year worldwide at the same time, meaning that unlike before where you've seen me and like a bunch of other people post about the Japanese versions and everything like that, we're not actually going to have to worry about that this time because it's being released worldwide, or at least it was specified to be released in um, Japan, the Americas, Europe, and Australia, I believe, in a video or little thing I read about it. So that's really awesome, and that means like people that have PAL versions of everything won't have to wait like 8 months after everybody else, like normal, which is something really cool, and I think is the most exciting thing about this because Nintendo, I don't think, has ever done that before, and it really makes the games accessible to everybody at the same time, as opposed to having to hear about it in other languages than you're used to because generally they're released in Japan months before. But overall, this trailer looked really cool. It showed the male and female starters in it and everything, and also it gave a glimpse at the starters for each generation. So first, the grass starter, which I will show you right here. It is known as, I'm just going to go with the first name on this, which is Chespin. Basically, I know it's in Japanese, but I did see an English version of it. But the first two names are the Spanish and Italian names, followed by the French name, followed by the Dutch name, followed by the Japanese name. So this isn't like different names in its evolutions, but it's more or less just the different translations of the name. So this guy is obviously the grass starter. It looks really freaking cool, I'm not gonna lie. And it is going to be, in my opinion, possibly a grass fighting thing when it evolves. At least that's the way it looks to me. Obviously, you have no idea because the whole thing with Oshawott and Samurott was a huge curveball to me. I did not know how the hell that thing ended up becoming a sea lion after being an otter. But anyways, I have no idea what they're going to do with this, but to me, I'm excited to hopefully have it be a, grass fighting starter, which has never happened before, and that typing only exists in Breloom and Virizion. So that'd be really cool to have one for a starter, and it looks like it could be, like a fast and powerful kind of thing. As for the fire starter, which is known, I'm going to go by the first name, Finnegan. This thing actually looks really freaking cool, and it's obviously like the cutest of the three in my opinion. And to me, it doesn't seem like it's going to evolve into like a dual type. I mean, at least the way I see it, I feel like it could just be a fire pure starter for the whole time. Obviously, we don't know what it evolves into at this point in time, but that's just the way this thing looks. It doesn't really give a hint at another type to me. But again, like this Pokemon looks like it's going to be one of those like fast, powerful Pokemon that's not going to be terribly defensive from at least the fire starter, at least the first stage of its evolution. I'm just kind of brainstorming here. And then lastly, we have the water starter, which is named Froakie. And this thing's really cute. I like it a lot. And to me, Being frog, I'm kind of hoping that it eventually evolves into like a water poison because I think that'd be really cool for a starter. And I don't know, it just looks like a fun Pokemon to use. Like I like all three of these starters a lot. Whereas in Gen 5, I kind of only liked Embor. No offense to the other two, but these three look really cool and like look like they're very unique and different from, I guess, what we've had already, where we've gotten a trend of firefighting starters over the years. I think this is going to kind of break that a bit, which is going to be awesome. But we also got a glimpse in the trailer at the title legendaries. Pokemon X being the stag, which you'll see right here. It looks like a stag. I'm just going to call it that. It has rainbow antlers, which is really awesome. So that looks really interesting. And for Pokemon Y, which is this Pokemon right here, kind of looks like a Loftwing from Skyward Sword. But it is this bird thing. Not really much to say about that because we've had so many bird legendaries already. So what I'm wondering then is how these two Pokemon are going to interact, like what the story behind that is going to be. Because I really like, at least with Ruby and Sapphire, what they did with like Kyogre and Groudon, where it's like water and land or whatever. Um, but I'm kind of gonna wonder, maybe it's gonna be like sky and earth type thing, which would be kind of cool. Um, but that's the only idea I basically get with that. But the interesting thing about the trailer, and I'll just go back to the Pokemon XY screen at this point, is that there or most of the Pokemon showed in the trailer were Pokemon we've already seen before. So what I'm wondering is if this generation, Generation 6, is going to be like Generation 2 or Generation 4, where it's basically like an introduction of a few new Pokemon, but putting them in the context of a giant amount of Pokemon that we already know about. So I'm thinking that it's going to be like a medial, is that what I'm trying to say? Like kind of like a passing generation between the next one, where we're going to get a lot of maybe Pokemon that are evolutions of some Pokemon we already know, such as, like maybe Farfetch'd will get an evolution this time, but because it was so immersed in the Pokemon that we already have seen in the trailer, at least maybe because they just don't want to release a lot of things at one point, that's what I'm kind of thinking about it, so I guess we'll see. But overall, I hope you guys are really excited about this like I am, and I look forward to hearing your comments on what you think. Take a look at the trailer and let me know basically if you're excited about this or not. I think I am, but I feel like it's come way too quickly because we just had Black and White 2 come out. But I guess we'll see how it goes, and hopefully we'll get some pretty awesome new metagame things to come along with this game, as well as new moves and abilities and all that good stuff. But anyways, that is it for this video, everyone. So take care as always. I will see you next time, and let me know how hype you are about Gen 6.